right? We talked about chopping it up a little bit about soft parenting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the most familiar with it, right? And until you brought it on my radar, and when I started doing a little bit of research, I would say that I'm possibly am a little bit of a soft parent,
Yeah.
right? Or a gentle parent.
Gentle.
For the folks that may not have heard of it before or know what it is, can you give a brief rundown on what soft or gentle parenting
Well,
is?
in my terms, gentle parenting is parenting like white people. Like, I don't know, like in the 90s. in the 90s, there were always these stand-up clips, and, there will always be like, a black guy would go to his white friend's house while they were teenagers, and the white friend would kind of curse at their mom and talk to their mom however way and, like, slam the doors in the house, and then, the stereotypical black mom, like, like he'll come home and try to do that stuff at home, and the black mom wouldn't, allow it. So it was almost like just a I don't want to say hands off, but a really, really, really verbal approach to parenting, and just really trying to make your kids understand things as opposed to like incorporating,
or even being more of a authoritative figure.
absolutely
Right. You guys kind of figure it out kind of together, or you let the child kind of in the they're in the mix of the problem solving or the rectifying whatever situation it may be.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have a more I have a better definition of it. Gentle parenting is an evidence-based approach to raising happy, confident children. This parenting style is composed of four major elements: empathy, respect, understanding, and boundaries, and focusing on fostering the qualities you want in your child by compassionate and enforcing consistent boundaries. Which, in a perfect world, sounds amazing. And I feel like all those things should be implemented in a strong parenting, guidebook.
So why wouldn't you agree with that though? Because all right, it says like this particular style of parenting raises a happier child, right? We all know, even as adults, when we have an authoritative figure on top of us telling us what to do, that doesn't make us happy.
No.
Right?
Well,
where we feel like we have no control over our destiny, over our lives, anything, the decisions that go on in our life. Yeah, you're not going to be happy with that. Yeah. So we shouldn't kind of discount children just because they're younger, that they don't have those type of feelings, right?
Yeah. We should definitely take our children's feelings into, account when we're doing certain things and we're disciplining them and everything like that. But we have to understand that we only have a certain amount of time with them until our influence is outweighed by the influence of the world, actually. I feel like we have to about 12 until, and it might be even smaller now with the advent of like cell phones and social media, where we can really imprint our blueprint and our format of thinking and our rules and guidelines into our children. And I feel like if we take that part for granted and we want to be, because this sounds like people want to be their kids' friends and everything like that. I feel like you should give your kids a great childhood, but it should have some kind of regiment. You should implement some kind of
discipline.
Discipline is the magic word.
I don't think that they're saying that there's no discipline, right? It's more or less when we're coming up with the discipline,
Right.
it's more of a meeting of the minds versus me as the parent making a decision about what happens with you, right? Whereas a lot of the times when you think about how things go, right? A kid does something wrong, right?
Right.
And if you're it's called authoritative parenting, right? It's more or less, you did this is your punishment, go serve your punishment. Right. It's more of a, do you understand why you did this? You understand why you're getting punished? It's more of an aggressive, not an understanding where the kid is probably upset about being punished and they're not really going to get a chance to understand why things are happening the way they're happening. Right. So does the kid really learn the lesson? Right.
Yeah.
So
because a lot of that was happening when we were younger. Well, when I was younger, was it was, you would discipline your kid while you were still mad. So it was like almost like letting out your frustration on your kids,
absolutely,
for what they did, as opposed to letting them know like this is what happened. But I felt like now now the pendulum has swung so far to the other side. It's an overcorrection at this point where it's like almost coddling, and it's allowing bad behavior. Where it comes to like kids at school. When they get in trouble at school, back in our day, it was like when you saw someone's mother come to the school, that the kid was going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But now when you see someone's parent go to the school, now the teacher's in trouble. Because now the parent is going to fight for the kid, almost advocate for the kid, which they should in certain situations. You know what I mean? But you should go up there and find out what your kid did, and then kind of, worry about, what's happening.
I get you.
I just feel like it's an overcorrection. I felt like a lot of people resent the way that they were raised, and they don't want to look. They don't want their kids to look at them like the way they look at some of their parents. Some people don't like their parents.
But would you say that the way some people were raised and how their parents handled things, was it the right way? Do you think that the old school way is the right way?
I feel like the right way is taking the great things that your parents did, improving on them, and that's your style of parenting. Not
what are
taking
the great
everything
things,
away.
What are the great things?
The good moments, like even the discipline. Like, yo, listen, some if you could step away from it, you understand, like, yo, this discipline made me a better person. I acted a certain way in school because I didn't fear my teachers. I feared my parents. Like, if they called the house and left a message on the answering machine, I was toast.
You think fear is healthy?
I think there is a healthy level of fear to have. Absolutely. Think about it. When we were coming, when we were first 10 to 20 years ago, you know what I mean? When I was having my first kid, a parent's dad's slogan was, I want to keep my son out of jail. I want to keep my daughter off the pole.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just like, whatever. Now this dads my age okay with their kids having OnlyFans. They should have that little bit of fear to be like, yo, listen, like, nah, I can't come to my dad with that. Like they should be like, yo, listen, like, failing you should be a priority.
I don't think one thing has to do with the other. Right? Where I feel like a child not wanting to disappoint their parents, right? A child not wanting to disappoint their parents, and in that parenting style, I don't know if one has anything to do with the other. Like if you are a gentle parent, that your child doesn't care about disappointing you, right? Because I think it's the same. It's somewhat in a sense of, if it was a friend or a close family member, someone you felt very, very close to, you're not gonna want to disappoint that person at all. Like you're not gonna want to do that.
Okay.
So, I hear what you're saying, but when you talk about fear, right? We don't know how that translates in the future with a person, right? So that fear could transition from I'm having a healthy fear of my parent because they are my authoritative figure, and now I don't want to, let's say, be an entrepreneur because I need a boss, because I need somebody over me to make sure I'm straight. I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do, right? I'm not able to think freely. I'm not able to take chances. Because I still have that fear that I was dealing with as a child.
Right.
So I think some of the main benefits of the gentle or the kind of soft parenting is that you create free thinkers. Right. We spoke about this before, right? So in the past, every level of life kind of had some type of structure where it's like you had somebody watching over you. When you're at home, your parents are your authoritative figure. Then you go to school, they're your authoritative figure. When you're in sports or activities, you got a coach. That's the authoritative figure. Everywhere you go, there's somebody.
And then when you grow up and you're in life, there are police and, other things, any kind of industry that you work in also has, even if you're an entrepreneur, every industry has a EPA, a DEC, or something that's overlooking what you're doing. Now, to swing the pendulum the other way, now where you're saying that it might make them, want to be under, it might shy them away from being an entrepreneur, and they might always want somebody under them. Now, it might make them lack a respect for authority. And then now they get in trouble with police, and now they get in trouble with the IRS, and they get in trouble with things, and they take certain chances. You smile, but you took it one way, and I'm gonna take it back the other.
No,
we got to meet in the middle.
No, you
got to meet in the middle now.
You go extreme. You go extreme, bro.
Listen, you went the other way. I'm gonna go the other way.
All right.
Now let's swing back and rock in the middle.
I don't think it's a bad thing to question authority, right?
Okay.
Because you got to think about it like this. 30 years ago, you couldn't curse on TV, right? But now you could say ass, you could say shit, you could say certain things.
Right.
Somebody has to do that or take it past that rule or that regulation.
It changed.
Why does it change though?
Because now
somebody has to push
it's
the
not
envelope.
On regular TV. You still can't say those things, and that's all that was. Now you could do those things on streaming, and you could do those things on certain cable networks with behind certain advisories at the beginning. It's not just free willy-nilly. There's still rules in place. Yes, it was pushed, but it was
the ball
pushed.
is moved though.
The ball is moved, but it's moved with legislation, and it's moved not by mavericks. It's moved by people working and changing things.
I believe it's moved by mavericks.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I think.
So let me ask you a question. You haven't had a child driving age yet. What's your conversation when your child, when you are going to let your child take the car out and, gets pulled over? What are you going to tell your child about getting pulled over? Are you going to tell them that, as soon as they tell them, as soon as they ask them for their registration and their license, ask them what I did, or to comply, find out what they did, and, we'll work it out in court? Or just never stop. You see them lights behind you, just don't.
No,
don't stop.
of course, right? I'm going to. I would probably say this. Yeah, you stop. You stop. If that's what's required, you stop, right? But understand that cop is not your boss, your master, or whatever. Whatever. He's not the authoritative figure, right?
He actually is in that moment. He definitely is detaining you for
No, we didn't.
a
See,
little
you
wild.
keep you go extreme. We talking about a traffic stop,
Traffic
right?
stop,
Traffic
right.
stop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now this is the thing. When you see a white person get stopped, now we talking about as black people, right?
Yeah.
And we have that fear, right? We have that fear. But now you see more people not having as much fear, where they're willing to question the authority. And you're talking about certain situations that are not within the parameters of law.
Within reason,
right?
though. Yeah.
No, some of the stuff is like you cops taking the letter of the law too far, right? Or abusing their authority, right? And people do that. They abuse their authority.
Yeah.
So that's why authority has to be questioned sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? Because just because you have that authority doesn't mean you reign supreme over me. Like, bro, just because you're supposed to be at point B doesn't mean you can go to E and F with me or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And how long are we supposed to even bow down? Like, that's a whole nother conversation. But what I'm saying is that,
but come on now, like, yo, you got your, all right, go ahead, man.
we talking about a regular traffic stop.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I
Look over the paperwork,
bro.
Take your ticket, keep it moving.
I've been stopped by cops, and first of all, if I know I didn't do anything wrong, I will ask the cop, like, why'd you stop me? Why? And if they say X, Y, and Z, come on, you know I didn't do that. I'll speak to a cop like, yo, you're supposed to protect and serve the citizens. I'm a citizen, right? I'm not a criminal, right? So it is what it is. Now, this is a lot of the times, this is why we have the mentalities that we have, because we're conditioned to be a certain way, right? We're conditioned to have that authoritative figure over us, and like, all right, no, you don't ask the questions. They ask the questions. You answer the questions, right? But now it's a new day. And when you think about authority, it's a social construct, and a lot of the times it's a invisible veil where people put it on themselves. They put it on themselves. It might not even be there, right? And they assume that's how it is. Oh, I already have that fear, so now, I can't question nothing.
Fear is a strong word. Fear is almost like the insecure word. It's kind of like used, loosely, and it's an overreaction. I feel like in this situation, I feel like it's your job to teach your kids those hard lessons. So
you teaching? I'm sorry, I mean to cut you, but are you
no.
teaching your kids that to be scared of the cops, or to tell the cops that
have a healthy respect?
Yes, but the respect should come in the sense of
compliance.
I like the fact that,
that's
brother, you're a police officer. You protect and serve me.
Yeah,
I appreciate the service that you provide.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if I go to a store and somebody makes me a great sandwich, that was a great sandwich.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, this person technically is supposed to keep me out of harm's way and serve me in that way. So that's where the respect, it's a respect thing, not like an authoritative, like
survive the interaction, all that talking, all that fly shit is cool, but niggas getting shot for less. Survive the interaction, give them the paperwork. If you got a PBA card, slide it under the register. don't put the PBA card on top. License, registration, put the PBA card on the bottom.
Oh, that you put it on the bottom?
Oh yeah.
I put it on top.
You put it on top. See, that's the thing. Yeah.
I give it with my license. With my license.
Yeah, they probably right up all your PBA card, right?
Nah.
Put my shit on the bottom. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Nice and keep it moving. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's your job to teach your kids those hard lessons in life. If you don't learn, no one cares about your kid as much as you do. When you put your kid out in the real world and everything like that, the biggest part of the world, no one's gonna give them that love, that care that you do. So I feel like you have a certain amount of time to instill all your principles, all your wisdom on your kid. And sometimes, listen, some of that comes with a little bit of harsher lessons. Timeout isn't always going to cut it. You know what I mean?
Oh, great. But you don't put a kid in the box, though.
You don't. No one's saying
because
that.
like you just said, like, yo, they're out in the world alone, so they gotta navigate. They gotta be able to navigate.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
So
and they gotta be able to color it within the lines too.
I hear what you're saying.
What's up?
But we need some people that are reshaping the lines.
That comes with confidence and that comes with compliance as well too.
This is what
you could reshape the lines slowly, and you could do what you got to do. But I feel like, and listen, you're glamorizing it, but a lot of soft parenting leads to gang activity. It leads to school shootings. It leads to a lot of shit. A lot of people are locked.
I don't believe that.
Letting kids lock.
I don't believe that.
Letting kids lock doors in their house. People don't look in their kids' phones. Privacy.
There's a difference.
Privacy was a part of that.
There's a difference.
Some people think privacy is going through my kids' things and looking through my kids' room when they're not home. That's privacy. That's not privacy. You got to be able to see what your kid is watching, what your kid is doing.
Is it
what your kid shoot?
Is it privacy, or is it that I'm too occupied doing me to figure out what he or she is doing?
What you could do, you could call it whatever you want to call it.
Bro, a lot of the
privacy is if knocking, if the kid is changing or the kids in the room, knock on the door before you walk in the room. Don't barge into any rooms. You don't know if your kid is changing, whatever. That's privacy. That's the healthy boundary. That's the healthy level of privacy. But if your kid's phone is locked and you don't got the passcode, you can't get into their social media, you can't do anything like that. That's you don't know what your kid is doing, and I think that's a byproduct of gentle parenting.
I think it gets to that when you let it get to that. I can't even deny me as a parent, right? I have a daughter that's 12 years old, and does she F with us like that? Not like that. She off in her own world a lot of the times, right?
Yeah, you get that balance where it's like,
and sometimes me and my wife, we're working, we're tending to each other, we're relaxing. So it's like, all right, the job of a parent gets difficult. So it's like, all right, she up there, we know where she at. This is the mentality of a lot of parents.
You know where her body's at, but you don't know where her mind is at.
Exactly. But a lot of times that's all we focus on.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I know she upstairs in her room. She ain't outside the house. She ain't doing, but we don't know exactly. We don't know what she's taking in, what type of content, what she's doing on social media, what she's watching on TV. A lot of times we don't know.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, all right, just how we'll let little kids just stay on an iPad or watch YouTube all day.
All day.
Because it's like, all right, they're occupied. They got something going on. They not tearing up the house.
Yeah.
Cool. I could do me. I could chill. I could watch my TV. I could do what I want to do. And I think that's the majority of the parents. And I think that's the difference when you're talking about if you gotta do like an audit, like a special audit where it's like you don't know what your kid's been doing for the last 3 months, and now all of a sudden you want to check phones, check this, and go in a room and whatever. You
could call it what you want to call it, but I feel like it's warranted. Yeah.
I could admit that I shouldn't have to do that quick audit if I'm in the mix every day, right? Or at least every day I'm interacting with my kid. I shouldn't have to do an audit every 3 months to see what's going on in her room and what she's watching or what she's on social, on her phone, doing. If I had more engagement with her on a day-to-day basis, on a hour-to-hour or every other hour type of basis, I wouldn't have to do that.
Kids
but a lot of times,
kids hide things.
No, they do.
You think they're gonna tell you everything?
No,
they're
not.
Doing?
They're not.
So that's why you got to go in their stuff to look at what's going on. No one's gonna tell you everything.
What I'm saying is that if you're more in tune with your child,
right,
you don't have to go as hard, right? But a lot of times people do got to go that hard because
that's not going hard. That's just maintenance, dog. That's not going hard.
A lot of times parents got to go that hard.
Going
because
hard
they
is
have a
taking everything away.
They ain't have a real conversation with their kid in months.
Going hard is taking everything away. That's going hard. It's regular maintenance, yo. Let me see what's going on. Let me see the YouTube searches, Google searches, looking through everything, make sure everything's on the up and up. Keep it moving. You know what I mean?
All right, so
you gotta be hands on, yo.
No.
You have less. You know what I mean? I'm going to people's houses now and they're just talking over and over again. It's like, yo, it's like there used to be that healthy fear of dad and fear/respect. Like mom used to be able to call, and I still have this at my house. You know what I mean? Dad is the nuke button. Yo, if I call your dad, I'm pushing the button. You know what I'm saying? Healthy fear. That's a healthy fear. You know what I mean? Dad, all the shenanigans is over when dad comes home. Now it's call that nigga. A lot of y'all niggas, yo, call that nigga. A lot of y'all niggas gotta talk to your kids 3-4 times for them to, respond to what you're trying to tell them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dad should be the ultimate. He should be the stopper. The buck stops with dad. Mom is the day-to-day enforcer. Dad is the warden. Dad come through with the lollipops. You go on to Starbucks. Everything is fly, cake pops. Everything is all good. But, yo, you don't want to see the ugly side of dad. And now dad don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all cats is talking over and over again. Y'all is just like mom. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. In some instances, I feel like mom
is every day.
Mom is every day. And the fact that she is every day, she like, yo, stay your ass out of this business. Cause I'm here every day. You can't show up once a week and throw something in the mix when I'm here every day. Right? I think that's what you get from women. I'm doing this shit 7 days a week and you doing it too. Yeah, so no, I'm the veto. You come in, try to throw something in the mix. Yo, how you gonna do that? I've been doing this. I handled something like this the other day. Now you just gonna come in and I handled it this way. Now you're gonna handle it that way? Nah. We gonna do it my way because I'm here with them, or I'm the warden at this junction. Now, it should be the way you say, because that would create sort of like a
hierarchy.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the hierarchy is respected these days.
I don't know, man. Yeah, dad needs to be the end all. Dad needs to be the stopper. A lot of y'all dads, you know what I mean? Like, yo, listen, I'm there. Like, I'm in people's houses a lot, and I'm seeing people talk over and over again. Yo, sit down. Yo, go inside. Boom, boom, this. Instead of, I could get done with a look. I get it done with one look. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Straighten up. You know what I mean? We used to be able to get it done with one look. Now it's a whole bunch of talking. But, yo, listen. I feel like dads are, we are doing a great job. I don't want to bash on dads. Like I feel like we're
You sure?
Nah, of course not. Of course not. Listen. We are in our kids' lives. We are their coaches. We are their hairstylists. We are very interactive in their life. With a lot of things. We are the therapists. We're there. Like I said, the approach that I want to take the good things that my parents did, and I want to improve on it. And part of that is softening up my parenting. It's not just no because I feel like it. I'm gonna hear you out. And maybe I might change my mind, or it might be no with a later date. It's not just gonna be no because I don't feel like it. It's not gonna be do this without an explanation. If they ask why, I will give an explanation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
you're not the type of parent is because I said so.
Nah, I'm not. No.
Okay.
Cause that used to frustrate me. You know what I mean? So that's something that I do try to work on, and I do try to correct on just explaining more, saying more. But the discipline aspect of things need to still be there. You still have to be disciplinarian.
Do you think it's difficult for a black parent versus a white parent? Because white parents kind of have been soft parenting for a very, very long time, right? Black parents, they deal with aggression. When they deal with problems, they deal with aggression, and they try to promote fear in the child in order to stop the child from doing things. So do you think it's harder for them to grasp this concept of soft or gentle parenting?
I definitely think it is, but I don't think that they should be overdoing it, because the way you said white parents, because they don't have the fear of their kids being judged out in the street a certain way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Black parents know that, when they look at my kid, if I got a boy and he's, a big kid, you know what I mean? He can't act the same way like a little white boy act. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We know that our kids are looked at not in a similar way that white kids are looked at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to overcorrect at home so that they're ready for the world.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? That's what I feel. You know what I mean? I was just seeing the uptick of kids fighting their teachers in schools and all types of things like that, and it's just like, you know what? It was kind of weighing on me, and I kind of felt like that we should have this conversation on the podcast about it.
I think that's a different conversation.
What's that conversation like?
I think that's lack of parenting. Not even authoritative, gentle, soft, whatever, or passive. It's just lack of parenting.
Lack of parenting.
Lack of parenting. Right?
What's the difference between lack of parenting and passive parenting?
Passive, I would categorize as the way white parents. I don't think they're gentle or soft parenting. They're more passive, right? Where they will allow their child to disrespect them, right? Not even conference with their child about an issue. They will allow their kid to disrespect them. And me as a human being, I wouldn't let anybody disrespect me, right? They can't curse me out. Right, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if there's if all right, even if you're my child and I'm soft parenting or gentle parenting, we can discuss what happened. Right? But you're not gonna curse me out.
Call still me a hierarchy here. There's still a level.
Not even a hierarchy. There's a respect. Even I respect you as an individual. Yeah. Even if you're younger than me, right? We should just respect each other as human beings, right? So I think that's the passive is like when you allow a kid to call you a bitch or call you or say F you or whatever. That's a bit much. And that's what we have seen in the past of white kids doing to white parents, right? But I think that's more passive. And as far as the gentle or the soft, it's more or less just like, we're speaking about what happened, right? You have a side of the story of why you did what you did, and I can tell you why it was wrong. We can discuss it on why this wasn't right, and you shouldn't do this in the future.
But that's always the first step. Now, what's the escalation to that? If it happens again, you talk again. Then if it happens again after that, after your third time of talking about the same thing, what do you then do?
I'm not an expert in it, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I think the gist of it is to continue to talk about it,
dog. So you're gonna keep talking and talking and talking, and just keep talking until your face turn blue.
A lot of the experts, they say that they don't have to talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
Right. One thing that I've learned too is that certain times kids don't fear the aggression sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes I look at my daughter, man, like we might have a situation where me or her moms might wig out. She might be scared for the moment, but it's like she forgets about that fear. And she'll, It might not be the same situation, but it might be a similar situation where she get flipped out. She get flipped out on again, and it's like, whatever. And she's fearful for that moment, but she forgets, right?
Yeah.
And the question is, do you understand the situation, or it's just like, yo, you were just fearful of what happened?
The big, like in your case, thank God that the behavior stopped. But if the behavior continues to go on and on and on, then what do you do? How do you yourself as a disciplinarian escalate it?
You would have to give me an example, because,
well, like stealing. Yo, every time you go to Walmart, your kid is just stealing out the store. Every time, like you're with your kid, and your kid is preteen, and when you're walking out of the store, your kid is stealing, and then you caught them a couple of times, two times, and then the third time you go in their room, and then you see something that you didn't buy from the store, and you're like, yo, my kid definitely stole this, so you didn't get caught stealing. How do you teach your kid that lesson? That, yo, if they catch you, that's your ass. You're going to be at the age in a couple of years where I'm going to be dropping you off at the mall. I got to be able to trust you to be on your own. How do you instill that it is wrong? You done did the talking. You done did all the explaining. You done did all the, you done did the grounding and all that. Where do you take it now?
You let them get arrested.
Oh, God. All right, nigga.
What? I'm just saying.
You ain't trying to be right. So you just not trying to beat your kid's ass at all. That's what we getting to. You just not trying to beat your kid's ass at all. Like, you just got a hands-off approach.
I don't think an ass whooping is the answer.
All right.
I don't think it's the answer.
All right. Yeah. Ass whoopings is the answer in America. Yeah, whoop your kid's ass. I tried to dance around the shit, beat your kid's ass when they got to, when you got to, yo. You know what I mean? You got to give them a little spanking. You got to give them that tap. You got to escalate it when you got to. You try to dance around it, but, yo, yeah.
Okay.
You got to beat your kids, yo.
You got to beat your kids?
Beat your kids, man.
In this day and age, I feel like it doesn't work. I feel like it doesn't work, right? In my opinion, he says beat your kids. I'm saying that if you take away privileges from kids, it's way more effective than the physical. Because these are your kids. You're not going to beat them to a pulp where it's like.
Of course not. And beating is such a strong word. Spank. Let's say spank.
Spanking, it's really not.
We ain't
enough.
going back in there. We ain't going to the yard, go get the switch. We ain't going to get like that. But yo,
if you can't beat that kid into submission, because CPS is gonna come to your doorstep, it's not gonna work. You better off taking away. Privileges.
You worrying about authority now, huh?
Yeah.
Now we're back to authority. Now. You done grew up without no authority, not worrying about authority. It was fuck the police, fuck the teacher, and all that.
Say that.
Now you worrying about CPS, right?
I did not say that.
It all comes back to authority, doesn't it? It's a funny way of thinking, isn't it, huh? Now you want to bring around CPS when it's kind of done to your kid. And then you want to let police solve your kid's problem. But when your kid don't got no lack of authority, then your kid runs out of that store, gets shot in the back. Now we gotta get our fucking marksman shoot.
Here we go.
And I'm not saying your kid. I'm just saying a kid. You know what I'm saying? Yo, dog. So you want to let your kid get arrested? You want to let police teach your kids the harsher lessons in life?
I
don't think that's it. We got any comments? We got a couple comments.
Couple of comments, but Cheryl Rose said, I do the audits, and she says, do you answer yourself is the question.
Or full-blown conversations.
Yeah.
Should I hype myself up?
Yeah. Again, he says beat. I don't think it works.
Pop.
Yeah, you could do a pop. That works when kids are like 2 or 3 years old. Because that little fear will help them at that age. Once they get older, it doesn't work. I don't think it works, in my opinion.
You tell your kids, stay away from that iron. The iron's hot. You tell them over and over again. You can talk to them. They ain't going to learn until they touch that iron, though. They're not going to learn until they touch that iron and that iron burn them and they feel that burn and they feel it for a couple of weeks and you put that grease on them and they see that little mark on them. That's when they learn about fire. Everybody learns about fire the same way. Every human learns about fire the same way.
This is what I'm trying to say.
What's
You're
up?
not going to be able to give a whooping or a spanking enough to equate to that burn. And this is what I'm saying. It doesn't have a
It's a
lasting
mix.
effect.
I'm just saying it's the
You can't leave no marks.
Don't take it off.
CPS won't allow you to
CPS
leave no
coming.
marks.
CPS coming, right?
They won't allow you to leave no marks.
That's what you worried about, right? You don't spend this
Yeah,
whole time
I'm not going.
about.
I'm not going to jail. And
You was NWA 10 minutes ago. Now you worried about CPS. I respect it though. You know what I mean? But we could agree to disagree. We usually do. But chime in the comments and let us know what you think. You know what I mean?
Please let us know what you think, man. If you feel like you need to whip your kids, or you could possibly
try to be nice about it.
You could possibly do. I think there's a healthy medium as far as like the soft and maybe the authoritative.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I feel like that's where I am.
I think that's where most black parents are.
Absolutely right.
Because
yeah.
black parents, we are coming from. A lot of us are coming from. We're kind of first generation of like damn near everything.
Yeah.
We starting to have something, and black people that are starting to have something, we all the time we try to emulate white people. So we feel like what they have, we should have too, right? So our kids should be spoiled or should have X, Y, and Z that all the other kids have. But we don't like the way they parent as far as the disrespect that they receive.
Yeah.
But
there's a sweet spot right in there. You don't have to be your kid's friend.
If we
I
spoil our
think
kids,
right.
I think we should take those privileges away. I think that has more of an impact.
That just brings you back to the baseline. That's just regular.
But that's the way.
Like, yo, I'm gonna take the iPad. I'm gonna take the iPad and your phone away, but you still got a 50-inch on your wall.
You don't think that prepares them for life though? Because that's usually how life is.
No, you take away. It's jail. Jail's not the baseline.
Yeah, jail is kind of the.
Because you're simulating jail. When you punish your kids, aren't you simulating jail?
Are you simulating jail? That's a good question.
You're taking away their freedoms. You're taking away their things. You're not sending them to bed hungry. You're not taking away their room and board. You're not letting them sleep outside. You're not being inhumane. But you're taking away all the excesses of life. You know what I mean?
What arena in life doesn't have that though?
Explain.
School.
Yeah.
You do something bad, you fight, you get into a fight, you get suspended.
Or detention.
You're
simulating jail.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you get expelled. That's the death penalty.
You're at a job, you do something wrong, you're on probation. Or you get terminated.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the way.
And in life, if you do not behave within social norms and social constructs, you go to jail.
Yeah.
Or you get killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So give him that pow.
You don't get what is a whooping gun? That's what I'm saying. What is a pow gonna do?
You're teaching them that lesson. You're teaching them that hard lesson before it escalates to the suspension, before it escalates to jail, before it escalates to the death penalty. You're teaching them those hard lessons that the world doesn't have the time to teach them. Yes. You cannot take things from other people.
Why can't
you cannot take things from other people? If your kid is
why not take away their privileges though?
That's all said and done, but that's not excessive enough. Yo, we had a kid growing up. I was late teens. You know what I mean? I had my little basketball card and what's the name collections. You know what I mean? Basketball cards and comic books. You know what I mean? Everything up in the crib. My dad had a godson. He used to come over. He was like 10, 11.
He stole your shit?
Stealing everything. He couldn't. This kid is steal everything that wasn't nailed down, son. This kid stole so much, I got on a public bus, went to Home Depot, bought a lock for my room, and locked my door for when I wasn't home, when the little nigga was over there. He was just cleaning me out. Parents wasn't doing nothing. Little niggas in jail now. just never learned those lessons. They just ignored it, and they just try to speak to them over and over again. Yo, it's not right to do. It's just, yo, certain people just need those lessons. They need to understand early in life that, yo, there are repercussions for your things that you were doing.
That's where we agree, though.
Right.
There are repercussions,
Right.
but the only way we differ is that I feel like the spanking doesn't really do much, especially after a kid reaches like past 5. But taking away privileges, they love watching YouTube. They love playing PlayStation. They love doing this. They love going outside.
That's luxury. That's like saying, yo, you can't wear
most of our
Gucci
kids,
and Louis.
most of our kids are spoiled, bro.
Yeah, but
They're
that's
spoiled
reverting
like
them
that.
back to the baseline. All right, we talking in circles.
Yeah.